Hey everyone, it's Kremlin here, or better known as Livish. I would like you guys to call me Livish. But anyways, today is gonna be different than normally what I upload in this channel. For today, I just wanted to show how do I make my own tracks using Garageband. It's still music related, just that I wanted to show a little bit of how-to video, but basically on how I do my own tracks. Normally I would use GarageBand to create my own tracks. I don't know about Windows whether you can get GarageBand or not, but I'm pretty sure there are alternatives like FL Studios or Audacity for Windows, which you can use. Yeah, so you can click new project. I'll normally click new project. It'll take me to the screen where it's gonna ask me to choose my track type. Now this is software instrument. Normally it gives you a virtual keyboard sort of thing, which you can create music or your own beats from it, or you can plug in a MIDI keyboard and then from there you can create your own track. I'm not that professional yet to create my own tracks and own beats, so I'll click this record audio thing, but I don't normally record. If you have seen my previous videos, go and check it out. But I don't normally sing. I don't have any lyrics. It's just me doing all this mix mash of beats and everything. But anyways, this is how I use them. Normally what I do is, since I am not in the level of creating beats, normally I'll use loops for my tracks. And if I click here, it's gonna show me a shit ton of them. And for now I have 3,000 plus loops, and there are even some that I haven't downloaded yet, so there's still more out there that is yet to be explored. I don't even think I've explored all 3,000 items here, but yeah, there's a huge selection of presets or loops that you can use, however you may call it. I call them loops, but yeah, there's a lot of them. And normally for my track I try to see what do I feel at the moment before I get to drag and drop any sort of synth or beat into this layout here. I normally think what kind of music I'm approaching for, what kind of genre, and to make my life more simple, I can click this genre icon here and it's gonna show me the list of genre that I'm interested in making it. Normally I'll click hip hop, which shows more of this low tempo kind of synths and beats that I could use. Sometimes I try to go extreme and attempt to make EDMs or sort, but it doesn't actually work out for me a lot. Normally I click R&B or any sort of chill songs also works for me. But for now I'm just gonna show how I normally start my own track. So normally I try to find a synth first, which is sort of this starting melodical part of my track, and there's a lot of selections here, so I'll find my own. And once I found, let's say I really like this synth right here, and as you can see, once you click it, it's going to show you a preview of how the song is before you drag and drop. And normally once I find my favorite synth or the preferred synth I would like to use, I'll just drag and drop it right on this layout here, and it's going to show me the beat or the size of it, which you can then see. But this is normally how I do it. I just drag and drop anything I prefer. I just drag and drop and try to make some sense into it, even though some doesn't. But normally I'll start with some synth. So once I start the synth, I can loop it how much I want. I can loop this time, I can repeat it 5 times, I can repeat it 4 times, anyhow would you like. Normally I will stop it at 2. I'll sort of create this normal intro to the song, so I add a slow beat into it, and then that way I create sort of this intro, which then leads to the main part. Now the main part of the song, I try to make it sort of related to the intro, like you have this synth here. I'll try to find another synth which makes some sense into that synth. I don't know what I'm explaining, but I'll try to find a synth which kind of creates this, like, when you hear it you don't feel like it's a total switch of a melody. So normally I'll try to find a synth which relates to the intro, and I think the most useful is like when you have like the same words. Normally this means that it's the same tune or the same melody, just that played by different instruments or different techniques, which is useful because one you can select one of them, put it as an intro, and then the main part can be the other one, which is the same melody but then a different style, a different approach. And then after I have my own synth, I'll try to drag and drop a beat from my selection here. Normally I'll go for these clean beats. I don't use this heavy thump or heavy kick sort of beat, which might destroy the slowness of the song or the slow or anything, I don't know. And normally after this part right here, this two part, comes the main one. And for this I'm going to use the same synth. Sometimes I do use the same synth as the main part, but this time I will add the same beat. This time I'll add the same beat as well, but the only difference is it's going to have a bass or even a pad or any sort of instruments either, which gives another feel to the main part. So that is my main part. So normally I'll click a pad and I can click any pad I want that fits perfectly, and then that's my main part. Now after this I normally play it like for 4 times, as you can see. 1, 2, this is my intro, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is my main part. And then I'll try to create this smooth transition, maybe give a sweeper. Sweeper is normally this sound which from loud it will just go from a high volume goes to a low volume, this descending sound wave, and creates this transition which gives an entry to the middle part of the track. Like a song, you have this main part and then you have the middle part where they add lyrics or lines, and then you have the main part again, which is the catchy version of the song. Something like that I'm trying to do it, but in terms of a track with no lyrics in it. So I'll try to find a perfect synth that gives a smooth transition from the main one, and this will give me not a overhaul change but just a transition. And then I try to make it as low volume as possible with not a lot of beats, and normally I'll try to continue the pad from the main part, or any sort of beats or any sort of bass from the main part, I continue it to the middle to give the same feel as well, so that I don't create this huge change which doesn't always work right. So normally after this middle part, I'll try to add a little bit of hints of beats here and there to make sure it still has a change, it still has a different technique in it. So normally like 2 sections of repeat here. I'll try to find a beat and then add a little bit another 2 repetition here with an extra beat. Now after this, I'll either put a riser or any sort of another ascending transition, or any transition even. It can be also like a beat, just a normal beat, it just transits to the main part again. So that would be my second time. Normally nowadays I'm trying to make 3 main parts, so the main part is played 3 times. Just in the middle of it I put the middle parts in, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I have a main part here, and then I have the middle part, and then comes the main part again, and then I would have another middle part, which again I'll try not to change a lot. So I'll try to continue some of the beats or use previous used pads or bass or anything, instruments, and put it in the middle part. Then comes to the final main part, which I'll add another set of new beat to make sure that it shows like this is the final, this is the ending sort of thing. And then after I'm done with my track, I go to mix and create a volume fade out. This will create the song to fade out at the very end, so you can just feel like it's ending, and it creates this simple ending. That's it. So that's normally how my track goes. And then let me just pull up a track that I've already completed. So like you can see here, this is a full track that I've already completed. It's already done. I've already set the effects and everything. And for this track, same, I have created the volume fade out at the end here. And also if I click A, if I press the A key, it will show you the volume levels of the song. So you can see here this volume is rising. So it gets from a low volume, it will ascend to this level of high volume. So it shows a high rise, and then I can also do the other way around. From high it goes to low, and you can play around with it however you may like and create a different feel or a different style of the song. And then I'll also mess around with my effects to find out which is better. And as you can see in the bottom here, you can mess around with a lot of effects. I haven't fully used all of this, but I have used several effects here in my previous tracks to give more of the feel of whatever genre this track will fit in properly. But you can play around the effects. You can also play around the effects of these individual rows here. So these rows occupy several beats, as you can see. So you can change however you may like you can use other instruments to give it a different feel to whatever synth is playing there, and that will also give another approach to your song. Normally I can click here, this little camera music icon thing. It's going to show me the list of musics that I have on my iTunes, which then I can use to easily import them. And then after I'm done with my whole track, so normally the first section is I try to drag and drop everything that I think it will work well and everything. I try to place them correctly, and then I mess around with the volume, and then I find places where it needs to have a different beat, or I try to take out the previous beats and replace it with a synth or entire new instrument, some sort of that. So it's mostly just me experimenting different styles and approach once I got the idea done. But first is definitely the idea, and that comes from you just going through these loops and finding whatever sound that you are really interested or feeling at the moment. And then after my whole track is done, I normally click share, and it's going to I click share song to music. It's going to share song to iTunes, which then I can use it to do my next step, which would be creating a visualizer for my whole music for my videos. And normally for that I use After Effects. That will be a video on another day where I do that tutorial. It's not a tutorial, like how do I do my own visualizer. So that's about it for this video. I think I've shared enough. I think if you guys have any questions, you can ask me, feel free, but don't expect me to answer them correctly, because again, I'm still in this learning curve of learning new stuff. Using loops, I haven't entered creating my own beats yet, so I'm still learning. But if you have any questions, you can still ask me. Yeah, but I'm not a professional, so don't. But still to ask. But never mind, nothing. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Do subscribe if you want to look forward to any of my videos in the future. I will be uploading some of my tracks and probably doing videos like this as well. So if you want to watch that, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on. I hope the video benefits you all. Till I see you guys, till I see you guys next time. Bye bye.